Hi everyone. Welcome to the Easy Chinese Cooking. Today we're doing, as I previewed it, we're doing a onion beef stir fry, toasted mixed mushrooms, and as well as a mango ice cream. So they're all very easy. They all go fairly quickly. So let's get started. So we're gonna start preparing all the ingredients first. So we're gonna have start with. I guess we'll start with the mushroom. The mushrooms we have these. These are the what they call the bunashimeji mushroom, which is the little brown cap small mushrooms. Let me open it up for you. This is what they look like. So they're the brown color cap. There some are darker brown. It's fine. Darker brown is it's just normal. This is happens to be organic, so it's less dark, but that's fine. We just need the flavor. Then, since we said it's mixed mushroom, then we have the white beech mushroom. So these are basically the same mushroom as the brown, but just they're pure white. So it comes in like this. It also has little ends. This one is a little bit crumbly. That's okay. Okay, and then we have this organic maitake mushroom. They are a little bit more like a floret type of a look. And I happen to find them. If you don't find these in your supermarket, it's fine. You don't have to use it. But the other two, it's pretty common nowadays that you can use. And then they look like this. And then one last mushroom is the king oyster mushroom. So they're big, almost like we call it in Chinese, we call it like chicken drumstick. Kind of look like a drumstick. So it's fairly big. It's a nice mushroom. So the common ground of these mushrooms is that they don't contain a ton of water. So that means that when you cook, because we have to start toasting it so that it can evaporate some of the moisture out of the mushroom, and then also to help to bring the fragrance out for the mushroom. For button mushrooms, shiitake mushroom, or any other mushrooms that may contain more liquid, or maybe the big cap mushroom, the portobello mushrooms, they do contain a lot more liquid. So when you try to toast them, it takes a long time. They shrink a lot. So ended up with a large pack of mushrooms. So after it's toasted, it reduced so much in size. So ended up you have to have a lot. So, but these don't. So these are the common grounds for them. So you want to cook them together instead of cooking it with the button mushrooms or any of the mushrooms that may have contained a lot of moisture. So let's start. What we do is very easy with the smaller mushrooms like these. All you need is to cut off the ends and then we kept the taller stem and the cap, and that's it. So let me get a pot to mix them together. You don't really need to wash them. If you see any dirt, just use a wet cloth to dust it off on the top, on the cap, or anywhere that has dust. That's it. Never rinse them. Okay, here we go. So here we have this one, and then we're gonna just cut the ends. And then they're like this, but they grow together as a pack. So a lot of times you kind of have to break them apart. So go ahead and break them apart a bit. Because doesn't have to be precise to be like individual pieces. They may attach with these little tiny pieces, and that's fine. But just break it down a little bit so that it's not like a big clump or big chunk. Then we're okay. And the toasting you could do oven, Toasting, basically it's on very high heat. Let me think. High heat is, you can do broil actually. Broil for about, depending on how high you heat, because every oven is different temperature wise. You could go as little as 5 minutes or as long as 10 minutes until it's toasted but not burned. All we need, the purpose of it is just to get the moisture out, not to make the mushroom crispy, but it's enough to get the moisture out, so it doesn't take up too much moisture. And same thing with this one. All we need is just to break it up at the ends, break them up. And these are really, really healthy. Now, since Chinese cooking, we do talk about, food is a very important part of our diet. So for certain food, it may not be good for people who have certain disease. So mushroom is one of them. Is that some people are allergic to mushrooms. So I happens to know an uncle of mine who cannot have mushrooms. Once he had it, he will have a very itchy feet. So I don't know why, but it does. So funny as it sounds, but it does create a problem for you. So it does not mushrooms. And also for people who may have arthritis, reduce the amount of mushrooms. For some reason, that's what a Chinese doctor says, that if you have arthritis, reduce the amount of mushrooms that you consume, because that will actually help that. I don't know why. I probably will have to ask for a little bit more reasons. But if you really love mushroom and you have minor signs of arthritis, you can eat a little bit, but not a whole lot. So as you can see, just a small pack, one pack each, if you add up, it's a lot. And you can see my pot is starting to fill up. This one is a little bit loose once the package because visual, otherwise the whole thing, you just chop once and then it's done. And I don't know if you have tried your my previous recipes. I hope you did, and I hope it turns out good for you and it's tasty. It turned out for me. So, and I know that some of you tried it and it turned out really good. Continue to practice, because practice makes better. And as far as for the king oyster mushroom, you just need one pretty much. You just slice it into not fine julienne, but slice it into almost like a French fry size. Then you should be fine. And same thing, cut the ends a little bit, because the ends is always fairly tough. And usually I cut it in a diagonal. In the 6 slices. And then we'll slice it into something like this size, be like 1/2 inch. If you want to slice it smaller, you can do that too. The reason being is once it's toasted, it will shrink a little bit, but it's not going to be as much as the other mushrooms that contains a lot of moisture. Okay, that's it. And since I do have an oven, so I'm gonna toast it. Tray. to my baking sheet. And then we'll put it in. That's fine. Or if you want to toss a little bit oil with the inside the pot, you can. And I am olive oil. You don't have to do any flavoring just yet because we will add flavoring later after it's been toasted. Just a light drizzle because you don't need a lot because mushrooms do soak up oil. So just use hands to give it a light toss. And spread them around almost to an even layer. Well, some might be stacking, but that's okay. Just trying to spread out as much as you can so that they're not overstacking so they won't get toast properly. And then turn the oven to start. And then you can put it in the oven and just let it cook. All right, so that's the first step for the mushroom, and we're gonna leave it for now. And then we're gonna prep the vegetables that go along with onion, with the beef, which is the onion. And we will have, let's see, we have an onion. This is a small, consider a small onion, but either way it's fine. You slice it. You could do a thicker slice because it's beef after all. The trick for this to make it easy and fast and also make the beef is very tender and quick cooking is using the shabu shabu, or they call the hot pot beef, which means that it's a nice portion of beef that they have already thinly sliced, so thin that it's like paper thin basically. So the cooking, that reduces the cooking time. Also, the size of beef is consistent, so that way it doesn't take a long time, and the way it cooks is very consistent. So then we cut the ends. We'll do a thicker slice. Because I don't have a lot of people eating beef in the house, so I'm just gonna make a smaller portion. But if you have more people, you can do as big of a portion as you want. There is no specific accuracy or specific quantity for how much you put in what. That's the one good thing about Chinese cooking, is that it's pretty freehand. And now we have the green onion. And basically you cut it in strips. It doesn't have to be very long, but just, like maybe an inch length. And that's it, and it's done. So let me show you the beef. This is the beef I'm talking about. Here, hold the light so you can see. So it's called a shabu shabu. It's kind of hard to see. It's a beef. It's for shabu shabu, which means for hot pot use. And it's very thinly sliced. They have at the supermarket that I'm in, they have two kinds. One is this. It's basically it's a little bit more lean. It has very little bit of fat on it. Let me show you. So it looks like this. It's very thin, and you can see the fat. See, it's like paper thin. You can see through my hand, very thin. And then you can see the layer of fat and the lean portion. And they all cut into thin slices that they had already folded up like this. So you don't have to spread it out, but if you want, you can. This box, it costs almost $10. So it's about $8 a pound, but this is quite hefty. This, if you want to cook for a large family, this one box is enough. But if you want to cook for individual, you could take a portion, maybe a quarter, or if you like to eat a lot more beef, half, it's fine. Either way, whatever works for you, it's good. Let me take out the portion that I need. This is a whole box. I just got it today. There are some that is half-half, which means that they have top layers of fat, then it's a thin layer of lean, and then fat, then lean. So it's kind of pretty marbleized in that way. You can choose those as well if you like to have a little bit more fat on the beef. But it doesn't matter because they both turn out really very good. So you don't have to worry about how and what. But make sure you're fully defrost them and then divide them into portions. If you wanted to have a portion, then put it in the freezer. Otherwise, they will be like this the whole time, and it will be hard for you to take it out for the next meal to defrost. You don't want to defrost this too many times. Everything. And so it's pretty easy to take out because they all wrap it that way. They kind of curl individually. So here are the some that has, it's lean, but it has a little bit more fat and thinner lean portion here. And that's fine too. Either way, they all good. And if you like lamb meat, they do have those too. And you can ask for your butcher shop, your store, your grocery store that can, you know, do it for you or slice it. However, if it's fresh, that's great. If not, like us, we don't have that option. Frozen would work just as fine. So this is a whole bowl, but once it's cooked, it shrink down. It's not hot. So, but it depends on the amount. So this is good enough for me. Okay, we can start cooking on the beef. This is over. So here is my, okay, let's see. Okay, this time I started with high heat. Let me turn it, let's see if it's gonna be better. Nope, that's too bright. So I'm gonna leave it off. So you can see, it's just a roast saute pan. Just wait until it heats up. Bring my vegetables over. Okay, and then I'm using vegetable oils, but any oils that you prefer, you can use. It doesn't matter. So it's about something that is enough to lightly coat the bottom of your pan. That's good enough. Okay. Then we're not going to do the green onion. We're going to do the onion first. And let it sear and cooked until transparent or until slightly tender. Or even if you like to have it caramelized, you can. Let's see. I'm going to turn off this light. Can you see better? Yeah, that looks like better. A little bit dark. There. Okay, that seems to be better. Adjust your heat accordingly because you don't want to burn the onion. You want it to cook so tender. If you want to have more flavor, you can have it to caramelized. If you want crunchier, just cook until somewhat tender. If you want the softer texture, just cook it until caramelized. Now, if you would like the onion to be even crunchier, now it's pretty much it's good time to complete the cooking. It starts to become a bit transparent, but not fully. So I like it a little bit more crunch, so I'm going to leave it. So now this is the time that you want it to look very closely. We're going to add the onions. Give a little stir. Going to add salt. Pepper. Oyster sauce, just a little bit, not too much. You can have it with my quantity. It's about a teaspoon. That's enough. Okay, watch this. Pour it down. Start stirring. If it's fresh beef, all you need is to, once you put in the hot pan, count 3 seconds and take it out. Then it's perfect. Now these are frozen beef, so it takes a little bit longer to cook. But once you see it start turning color, then you're done. My chopsticks to break them apart a little bit so that they cook a little bit more even as they stack together. Okay, it's done. We can now plate. Now you have it. Onion beef. Very good. Smells great. And the beef is very tender and it's still very juicy. Now let me check on my mushroom. Oh, smells great. Let's see. I think it's good. So you can see it dried up and it shrank a lot. So don't be worried. Don't worry. Don't worry that it's a lot of mushroom because they do shrink down. But you do have good amount of mushroom and take out a lot of moisture, and you can smell the mushroom is just smells wonderful. So there you have it. And then if you now we are adding the flavor. Flavor, it's very easy. What we have is, get my measuring spoon out. Light soy sauce, 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. And get my sugar, 2 teaspoons. I don't like it too sweet, but it does make a difference. And then 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil. I'm gonna mix it. Okay, spread them a little bit again. And we pop it back in the oven. Just cook for another maybe 5 minutes. You can still cook it under boil. If you don't have an oven, like I said earlier, then you can do it over stovetop. What you do is you use the pan, a little bit of oil, and then toast the mushrooms on top until it shrinks in size. You can see the juices release. And after that, add the same flavoring, which is 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil. Put it in, give it a stir fry until all the flavors in, because the mushroom is pretty much cooked by now. You just need to give it a light toss until the juice and the flavor absorb and evaporate a little bit. Then you can take it out. So while we wait for that, let me do a little bit of a cleanup. And at the same time, I'm going to start the ice cream. Okay, if you have a stand-up mixer, which is like KitchenAid, this will be easy, and it's just as easy. You have less things to do. If you have a hand mixer, then you use a bowl. Doesn't have to be this big. Something smaller, it's fine. I just don't like things to be splattered all over the place. So this is so easy. So we have bowl. I have my mixer, a hand mixer. I do have a KitchenAid, but it's just too heavy to move. If you don't have either, and that's fine, then you use a whisk. You just need to use your arm power to give it a whip. then that will work too. Okay, charge this. Okay, so here are the ingredients. What's this? 1 pint, equivalent to 473 milliliter. 1 pint of heavy cream, or some places called double cream. It's a whipping cream. Pour it in. A little bit more, a little bit less, it doesn't matter. As long as, you know, you like the flavor at the end. You can always taste test before you put it in the freezer. And then half a can is, let's see, 7 ounces of condensed milk. Half a can, 14 ounces. So half of this. If you like it sweeter, you can put more. But for me, half a can is just enough. I don't like things too sweet, but then they taste amazing. Okay, no sugar, no eggs. So here we start whipping. Now, we're not trying to whip the cream. We're trying to mix it. And then you just need to mix it until the cream becomes thicker, not whipped. So whipped means that it's going to be formed into a soft or stiff peak where it's not going to fall and won't drip. This will still drip, just a heavy, thick drip. Yeah, they still drip, but if you want, you can feel it if it's thickened. So it's not as liquidy. Okay, let me check on the mushroom. Okay, the mushroom is out, but let me let it cool a little bit before I touch the pan. So let's finish this. So now we whipped thicken, but it's still watery, and that's fine because all we want is just to mix well because the condensed milk is a little thick. Now the mango part. I have blended some mango puree. If you have fresh mango, great. If not frozen mango, it's fine. If it's frozen mango, put a little bit of a mango nectar, mango juice into it if you like a little bit more consistent of mango flavor. If not, water is fine, but not too much, enough to make it make it move in the blender. I'm gonna pour it in. This is a thick puree. This is a lot of puree. You don't have to do this much, just based on your taste flavor. And to the quantity that you like, it's fine. If you like more mango flavor, you can, that's fine. And this will work, it's the same for all fruit. Some of the fruit, if you don't like some of the vegetable taste, like a grassy taste, then you probably want to cook down a little bit before you put it in for the puree. But otherwise, once you blend it in puree, just pour it in. Now it's blended. I don't know if you can see the color, but it's a nice light, like an egg yolk, blended egg yolk light color. Then I have the mango chunks. You can put some mango chunks in it. If you don't have it, that's fine. You don't have to have it. I just like a little bit more mango to it. And it also has a bite to it once you have an ice cream, to have something to chew on. You don't need a lot. And you want to cut into a smaller chunk, not a big, thick chunk. Just like give it a little mix. And we're done. Now I pour it into my dish. It's a bit full, but that's okay. And whatever left over, I'll hand it over to my kids. Even just the way it is now, it tastes wonderful. And they can lick off the bowl. And you cover it. This pan is a 6-cup quantity, about 1.5 liter. If you have a larger container, or if you actually have one of those reusable ice cream container, great, you can use those. And it's good. But this, I'm telling you, won't last. And now all you need to do is put this in the freezer. At least let it freeze for 4 hours to let it completely set. And then you can take it out and just enjoy and serve. And now to my mushroom. Let me plate this. This. Let's see. All right. I'm telling you, this smells wonderful. Don't worry that you toasted, you thought that there's no moisture. Trust me, this is like so juicy. So much juice and liquid still remains. Okay. And if you like the taste of onions or green onions, or even just for decorative purpose, you can finely chop some onion and just sprinkle on top, and it will look great. And since we have a little bit more time, let me show you. There's a green onion. Just finely slice. Just one onion is fine. If you don't like the white part, you can just do the green part. Or whenever you're cooking and you only use the white part of the green onion, you only have the green part left, save those. And then whenever you cook something like this, you can just use it as your decoration. And just give it a little light sprinkle. There you have it. And then our beef, onion beef. Okay. That's it for today. And thank you for watching. And I hope you be able to try these two dishes and also the ice cream. Have to try the ice cream. It's so easy. I cannot believe myself when I find this out. And I tested many, many times. It tastes wonderful. And also when if you want to do coffee, it's a trick. Same thing, instead of using the mango, you can buy those instant coffee mixer, which comes in a small packet, I happens to have a Starbucks vanilla latte. I tried it like multiple times. You just use one pack and just pour it in, mix it, and then freeze it. It tastes amazing. I'm telling you. So you have to try it. But anyway, thank you for watching. And this is wonderful. And I'm glad everybody enjoyed my cooking. And I hope you continue to support me and keep watching. If you cannot do Facebook or do not have access to Facebook, I have my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe as well so that you get notified whenever I have a live stream or I have new posting. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.